Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 258. It's been a couple weeks where we haven't met as there hasn't been that much going on in the whole World of Warcraft universe. But now, today, we got some really interesting news on BlizzCon Live, which is later this month. Yes, we're already in February, which is crazy. But that's really awesome timing because that means that we can talk all about BlizzCon Live today and tell you guys exactly what is going on and what you can expect. Before we get into anything though, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Annie, or also known as Annie Fuchsia, and I am a full-time streamer on Twitch. I play lots and lots of World of Warcraft, of course. My co-host for the show is, as usual, the lovely Perculia, who is also accompanied by the lovely Brightpaw.
Hey everyone, thanks for that info. Glad to be back. I'm Perk. I run Wowhead. Brightpaw does many things on the site. He is our marketing manager. And yeah, it is good to be back after a break and going over all the BlizzConline stuff that popped up right before the show, as well as some of the industry highlights we've had in the last few weeks. It's a little weird not having a PTR as the live news kind of dies down. But we'll make the best of it, and we will still have interesting discussions and stuff to talk about, as well as a sleeping cat. I have his new cat bed right here, so hopefully he'll stay for the whole show and be in the background and sleep.
Yes, hopefully indeed. I had to turn the camera angle just a little bit so we could actually see him. Oh, his paw. He's like reaching up
He is
for it.
in the strangest position right now. Bright
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
I'm just gonna lay here and listen to you guys talk about BlizzCon Live. So tell me, what is going
Yes.
on, Mom?
So, the first thing we want to highlight was that earlier today, some in game goodies were revealed, and they're very cute, although not as cute as Brightpaw. This is
Mm-mm.
called the Celebration Collection.
Oh.
And what's up?
I accidentally started the video, but I didn't mean to.
Oh,
You go ahead.
so Blizzard unveiled a celebration collection goodie bag, and if you may remember at BlizzCon, whenever you sign up for the virtual ticket, you get a bunch of digital rewards. BlizzConline is for free, but you can still purchase the rewards. And this year, and instead of having just one bundle with everything, they have different tiers. So you have like a cheap bundle and a more elaborate one.
Mm-hmm.
The cheap one is $19.99. Then there's a $39.99 US dollars and $59.99. You are probably here just for the WoW stuff, so we're going to focus on that, and they're all very interesting. Uh, you can get a moon-touched nether whelp as the pet at all levels, and there's a lot of Burning Crusade hype with this pet because it
Yeah.
it's like a fancy version of the Burning Crusade Collector's Edition Netherwhelp, and one of the abilities is called Ashes of Outland. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really tying into the Burning Crusade hype.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does feel exactly like a teaser meant for the Burning Crusade. Um,
And
Potential
then
talk at BlizzCon Live because that would be really interesting. We know that BlizzCon is normally in the sort of November time, normally early November, and this time BlizzCon Live has been decided to be put in February, and it's interesting because it seems like they have thought about the timing very carefully because not only is it time for talking about the next patch for World of Warcraft and whatnot and all the other games, it's also the 30th anniversary, which is something else that we're gonna be showing as well as part of that. And I feel like having this event, this very special event, to also introduce potential TBC Classic would be very fitting. And having this whelp here does feel a little bit like a teaser.
yeah, I also think that they've been putting the 30th anniversary branding on lots of things, and they've kind of made the best of a kind of unexpected situation with COVID.
Yeah.
Um, and we have a cat that really cares about the anniversary too. Um, but yeah, so I think that is definitely a hint. We've seen some hints of the whelp in the data, and the icon even says the word Outland in it, which kind of furthers the TBC connection because the Nether whelps were like the big Brightpaw. No, they were from Netherwing Ledge in Shadowmoon Valley. I think
Mm-hmm.
Brightpaw is gonna maul my leg in a second. But yeah, it's super cute. And the flavor text is a strange well patched on Netherwing Ledge. It is thought to be blessed by the waning lunar energies of the Shadow Moon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So to me that is a hint. And Blizzard has done hints before for other things like the um yeah, a lot of their shop items seem to be tied into current expansions, whether that was the flying mount that was themed after Mechagon, or the boat that was like Clotiris,
Oh yeah.
or the
Mm-hmm.
Fey Dragon set like Ardenweald. So they're sort of always chosen for a reason, even if they are silly, like the Wendigo Woolies, that even like had some expansion vibes to it as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, why don't we highlight the mount as well? Snowstorm. Uh,
Yeah.
this has a really cool mount animation. Okay, Bright Paw.
Yeah, I'm showing off the picture to start with.
Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
is the mount which will be part of the major bundle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an icy bear with a little backpack thing that goes sort of across the body on both sides, and on top of the backpack you can see the art or the graphics for 30 years of Blizzard, which
And there's
is
like little snowballs in the bag. Super
oh,
cute.
oh yeah, that's true. The little snowballs
Yeah.
as well in the bag, and then he's got spikes on his back, which are basically looking very very icy. And we have a short little clip of it to show you
Yeah.
guys how it looks in motion as well, because we thought it looks cool. So let me quickly bring that up here. Let's see. I think this should be the one. There it is. The animations are so cool. And this is the special.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people are wondering, is this some sort of future Shadowlands teaser because it's very icy, similar to Ice Crown Citadel? Could this be Ardenweald theme because it looks similar to the Winter Queen? It has like very delicate helm and jewels on its paws. And it also is like a throwback just to, Blizzard in general, the actual name of Blizzard with the snow, and how many years ago Blizzard gave away the big Blizzard bear, the big BlizzCon bear, and this is like an updated version of that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of interesting nostalgia references there.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
very good point too, since we one of the most classic BlizzCon rewards has been the Blizzard Bear from all those years ago. And it's something which is valued really, really high right now because it was really rare at the time, and of
mm,
course, there's only a limited amount of them available. So they easily go for maybe $1,000, $2,000, maybe even
yeah.
more on eBay. And so this is definitely a nice little sort of nod against that mount, because even that mount has a special thing where it has the BlizzCon sign on it, and then this one has the 30-year anniversary. I meant to show the picture, not the video. This one has the 30 anniversary logo on top of the bag, which is some of the more unique things in the game that actually is referencing to something, here outside the game, IRL, so to speak. Because
Yeah.
30 Blizzard doesn't really mean anything in game, and there's not many of those things that we can find. So it's pretty cool having an updated graphics of a bear as the reward for this. And if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, it seems like Aegis just updated us saying that the mount is available if you get the bundle. Okay, the medium bundle at
Yeah, the medium
39.99.
bundle.
Yeah,
The big bundle, you don't get another WoW thing, but you do get 30 days of game time
gotcha.
uh, alongside some other stuff for other
From
games.
other
So
games, yeah.
if you just want the collectibles and you already have like a 6-month subscription, you may just want to get the medium bundle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you play all the other games, then you might want to go for the big one. Because you also get like Diablo transmog items,
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch loot boxes, some Hearthstone cards. There's some other stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and all the branding for this is all, like 30th anniversary, greatest hits. So, yeah, I'm glad they found its own angle so it wasn't just like, oh, replacement BlizzCon or, stay at home BlizzCon. They made it into its own, like, we're celebrating 30 years. Actually, let
Yeah,
me
I
check the
think it
date
was a
when.
nice little. I don't know if I can call it surprise or uh, if it happened to be planned all along, but that's pretty clever to put this sort of BlizzCon thing together with the 30th anniversary. It's really nice.
Yeah, Blizzard was actually founded February 8th, 1991, so it's
Mm.
really not a stretch at all. It's like
Mm-hmm.
right in the middle of all this.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we're gonna see like some tribute videos at the convention. I think that'd be pretty sweet if they did a
Mm-hmm.
lot of nostalgia things. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Indeed.
Yeah.
And the we were talking about prices here for the in-game bundles, but in case somebody just tuned in now, or if you're wondering but aren't able to ask, the tickets for the show itself are free. I don't know if you even need to actually officially get a ticket. Do you? Maybe you do.
I think they're still revealing details because they were talking about in another article today, like how they'll have information on where you can watch the different streams.
Okay,
But
so more information
yeah,
to
we don't
come.
know yet.
But the basic idea is that everything is available to everyone for free. So if you're interested in watching the different shows, you don't have to worry about paying for anything.
Yeah. Speaking of things we don't know the price of, and it's probably going to be a lot. Uh,
Oh,
Blizzard,
mm-hmm.
yeah. Blizzard also announced in one of their blogs, and it gave Wowhead a bunch of in-depth pictures, that they are going to sell a special Arthas Helm of Domination replica statue, going on sale February 19th, 3 p.m. Pacific on the Blizzard Gear Store. It's nearly life size. I don't think it's actually big enough to stick your head in. Maybe that's for the best. But it
Yeah.
is over 15 inches tall. So why don't we show some pictures of that? Again, I think Blizzard had a few pictures in their announcement blog, but they gave Wowhead a ton of pictures from all angles, which we are really grateful for. Really shows off the detailing in the helm nicely. I think Blizzard is trying the approach where, like, for some boutiques, they'll announce when a product is coming, but they don't reveal the price until later because they want you just to think about how cool it would be to get it, like more of an impulse buy thing. So they haven't revealed the materials or what the price of this is, just when it's going on sale and all the pictures of it. So, yeah, how much do you think this is going to cost?
Oh.
Because it's not like Thrall that's like a guy with body parts, but it does seem very detailed and heavy. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say it
uh,
looks heavy. It looks like it gives a real impression of some kind of armor. Maybe that's just because of how it looks like. Maybe it's not actually, but uh, I don't know. And how big did you say it is?
it is like I don't know centimeters, but it's over a foot 15 inches high, and it comes with a stand, and then it's 17 inches tall with the stand.
17. Um, I think I'd have to say at least $200.
Yeah, because I think that makes sense because the Ragnaros statue, which was very lightweight and I think slightly smaller,
Wasn't it
was definitely
100?
over 100,
Yeah.
and the Arthas, Prince Arthas statue as well. And this seems to have more materials as part of it, and yeah, it just seems to be larger in scale. Plus, it comes with a stand. Stands tend to add money to things. So yeah, I would. I don't think it's as much as like as Doomhammer. I think Doomhammer was 400, and this doesn't seem as weighty as Doomhammer. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
like maybe 200, 300. I don't. They did not tell me the price. I actually emailed asking if they had the price, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
checking again, but I don't believe
No
they
price yet.
are. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably deliberate because I can't find the price anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't they did not get back to me with the price.
How much was
So,
the Thrall statue again?
Thrall was really expensive, but I think that was because like there were so many moving parts to him. Plus, you could like remove the hands, and some of the hands had weapons in them. There was a lot going on with Thrall. And then they did the thing where you could get the
The
so Thrall
unpainted.
is 600. Thrall is 600, and then unpainted is 750.
Ooh.
I don't
Do we
think
need to
this would be as
consider that?
expensive.
And then maybe this one
Hopefully,
is more expensive?
like it's one color. It's exclusive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the paintwork obviously doesn't seem as detailed as Thrall. Like Thrall had a lot of colors going on, um, and like different small detailed parts. But I wonder, since they said this is like a special 30th anniversary exclusive, if only a limited amount was made, and they are, I don't know, maybe the exclusivity will drive up the price slightly more than we'd expect. But I don't see how this could be as expensive as Thrall. Like it looks awesome, but it's just the same color, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah. I would be curious of the material too, because if it's, I don't think this is metal, but you could have like a pet or a child hazard if it was, because that's pretty sharp. So I'm curious what the material is too, and you don't want it to be
yeah.
too cheap, because then it's like a prop. Um,
Yeah, you don't want the horns to suddenly fall off.
right. Like, oh god, Brightpaw's gonna be like chewing at the horn. Um,
Yeah.
I believe I have, as Blizzard was giving me the images, they were discussing the potential of some giveaways or a giveaway and an unboxing for this. So maybe we will have a helm on next Wowhead Weekly, and we can see if it is
Oh.
bright and how big it is and if it actually fits on my head.
That would be funny. Yeah, I can't
I
wait
feel
to see
like
that
they didn't make it able to fit on people's heads because you could
on
just see someone
purpose.
being like I got this helm stuck on my head. Like it's obviously not designed to be worn. Like it's not a mask, it's not a costume prop. There's no like side panels you
Mm-hmm.
take on and off or fastenings, but I can definitely see people trying to put this on their heads. We do not endorse that though.
Honestly, they probably have to consider that to make it not
Yeah.
possible at all, just so that
Right.
some stupid person doesn't try to do it and then get stuck.
Yeah.
That's funny. They probably have to consider that when designing it.
Yeah, someone's gonna be like, I cut mine in half and like I'm wearing the front as a mask around or
Yeah.
I can just picture. um
Oh, my friend put this on his head, no problem. Now I tried, now I can't get it off.
yep.
Yeah,
So
that would not be good PR.
with this I mean, I know obviously the helm is a big part of Blizzard's company lore, like it's an iconic reference to their, legacy of all the
Mm-hmm.
Warcraft games, and it's what they give people when they're with the company for 20 years. You get your own helm. But do we think that this feels like it could be bigger than just an anniversary gift? Because the helm is playing such a big role in Shadowlands so far, and Bolvar, and like all the Arthas hints. So are we going to see more with the helm at BlizzConline? Like, is there going to be another cinematic picking off where the Shadowlands one left off?
Mm.
Because the helm's been doing all sorts of things. It's helped us get to the Shadowlands. It helps us get to Azeroth. It's yelling at Bolvar to, be controlled by the jailer. It has a really big role so far. So I think this could also be some foreshadowing.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And I don't want to accidentally say some spoilers of parts which hasn't actually maybe not everyone has experienced every cinematic that has been going on right now, but in general, it does feel like a lot of things are pointing towards the helm becoming a very very important part of the story, and maybe that does mean that we'll see Sue Arthur's too, or maybe some kind of sneak peek of him as well. That would be
Yeah.
really cool, and it would be really fitting as well to have it on this event, the BlizzCon Live, the very first online BlizzCon. BlizzCon itself has been a very, very popular event for so long. It's the kind of event where tickets sell out within 5 minutes, maybe even faster. So
Yeah.
it's a very, very important event for Blizzard to host on an almost every year basis. And this time, due to the pandemic, we could not have it as an IRL event, so they decided to put this online instead. And being able to use a big part of their legacy as the sort of driving force to move the story forward would also potentially explain why things maybe felt a little bit rushed at the beginning, when they wanted to make sure that they were able to progress the story, progress the Shadowlands story fast enough to not have to delay things. Because a lot of us were very surprised when the raiding and everything happened in the middle of all the holidays. Why didn't Blizzard wait for January? Maybe this is why. Maybe if they had done it later, it would have become too rushy to then have the correct cinematics be announced at the correct event. So maybe this is why BlizzCon Live will make more sense of things in terms of storylines coming together.
Yeah, something else that's interesting is that in the schedule they're saying that the day one stream will start at 2 p.m. Pacific, and they've specified that this helm will go on sale at 3 p.m. Pacific. So that would be really interesting. Like, is there going to be some cinematic showing the
Oh,
helm at 2 p.m. and then be like, oh, the helm, and then you're going to go out and buy the helm after the
so it's
cinematic
not
when that
available
ends.
before then. Oh, that's
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like usually when stuff releases on a certain day, it's in the morning, like this, bundle we were just talking about. But this is very specifically February 19th, 3 p.m. So
Yeah.
I wonder, there could be like the helm is coming back together and then you
Mm-hmm.
can buy your own. They also gave
Cool.
me the product description for it, and it yeah, basically confirms, that the helm is now obviously tied to the jailer. I know previously it was like, oh, we don't know where the helm's from. The Nathrezim did things, but yeah, the product description is like forged according to the jailer's will. The helm of domination was to be the vessel of death's influence on Azeroth. The Nathrezim imprisoned the spirit of the orc chieftain Ner'zhul within the helm, granting him command over a vast army. The fallen Prince Arthas Menethil freed the helm from the frozen throne, donning it to take up the mantle of the Lich King. So they are really, spreading the early part of the Shadowlands story and lore with the Helm, how all the details that Shadowlands added with the Jailer's involvement are now, maybe if you stop playing in Wrath, you didn't know too much about the Helm, but you're just like, oh yeah, Arthas, he's got the Helm, he's cool. And
Mm-hmm.
if you read this blurb, you may not know the whole Shadowlands story, but you'd be like, oh, like the jailer, he's
Mm-hmm.
tied to the helm. Like that's cool. Maybe I'll pick this up and play again. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, they mentioned Arthas in the description. And when they messaged me about this, the official name of the product was Arthas Helm of Domination Blizzard exclusive replica. It wasn't like the helm or
Mm-hmm.
Bolvar's helm. It was the Arthas helm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think that we're going to see more Arthas hints in the future because they've been branding this helm as Arthas, even though in the Shadowlands trailer, Bolvar is clearly the one wearing the helm. So I think that they definitely want Arthas on people's minds.
That's really cool. I feel like it's such an important point for Blizzard as well to come to this point when the story, in a way, goes back to the past. You know, goes back to 10 years ago, connecting the past
Mm.
with now, connecting what people would argue to be, one of the more bitter times of Blizzard to now
Mm.
is really cool. It's really exciting,
Yeah.
and I hope that it's done really well and feels smooth and makes sense.
Yeah, also from a marketing perspective, normally, well, I mean, too, as a streamer, like normally just companies tend not to release products or, like big blockbusters or like a lot of people take breaks from their YouTube in the winter. A lot of people, hit the gym or they're spending less because the holidays, they
Mm-hmm.
spend too much over the holidays. So having a big event at the start of the year with what we assume is an expensive item, it's an interesting choice. I mean, if this does well, maybe Blizzard and other people say, hey, we don't need to, treat January through March as no man's land. We can actually do stuff and stealth stuff then. But yeah, normally we don't see luxury big products like this going on sale in the winter. Normally, they'd release this like a Black Friday deal,
Yeah.
late November
Mm-hmm.
going into December. So I'm really curious how this will go.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the pandemic, everything just sort of melts together and there's no sense of time.
Yeah, that's the thing as
So
well, because people don't have real vacations anymore.
no.
So there's no real sense of time anymore.
Or it could be, I'm usually someone that would actually go to BlizzCon, and instead of, paying money for the ticket, I'm going to pay and get the statue instead.
That's also a very good point, and it's something that they have to be considering too, because
Yeah.
going to BlizzCon is expensive. So maybe Blizzard is also thinking people have some spare money since there was no BlizzCon. I don't know. I don't know. It is pretty bold to do it now, and I guess to make up for it too, that they are putting on the show for free, right? There's no tickets required for anyone, so maybe that's their way of being able to monetize some part of it by bringing out this really cool thing at a time which may not be very traditionally a good time to be selling things, just because they're giving this other stuff for free.
Yeah, something else I noticed with the digital goodies is that the cheaper option is like way cheaper than the virtual ticket package, but the most expensive package is more expensive than the virtual ticket. So maybe they're hoping that enough people will buy the expensive bundle and it will, cancel out the people watching for free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, like just for Blizzard, like the budget is way lower as well. Like they're not renting the Anaheim Convention Center. There's no security. There's no setup or secrecy. Lighting, music, lugging statues around. It's a smaller affair, but definitely still stressful for the people working on it during the pandemic, where doing every little thing feels like a struggle.
I mean, didn't people say, I don't remember if this was just a rumor or if it's a fact, that Blizzard doesn't actually profit from BlizzCon? That BlizzCon has always been a thing where they kind of, make maybe just enough to keep it going, but it's not really a plus for them. It's more of a thing which is good for the general look and feel of community. I don't know if it's true, though.
I mean, I haven't heard that point specifically, but I mean, it definitely takes a lot of work, and they tend to staff certain parts with their employees versus outsiders. I mean, it's probably good for employees, to work a demo and see how people are reacting to your game. But I mean, it definitely feels like everyone is exhausted putting it on. So even if it makes a profit, the individuals working on it, it's not an easy event to create.
No.
You have to do you wouldn't just do it like, it's not, this is like low effort, high return thing. It's a very complex event, even if it is profitable. It's very challenging. And yeah, I mean, you could say even if it does make money, like there would be cheaper ways to get this across. Like Ian could just do like patch update videos, or they could do something more subdued, like other game companies that would maybe just announce something via like a live stream. But it's cool that they do that. So Blizzard also released not the full schedule yet, but an event trailer and key art and some basic info on what to expect each day. So yeah, why don't we do you want to just show people the key art and trailer?
Yep,
there's a little sneaky thing in the trailer too we'll highlight after.
Yeah, we have the key art here for BlizzCon Live.
Yeah, no real surprises there. I assume that Lilith means we're gonna hear more about Diablo 4. And we got Bolvar, who looks, good to see. He's around and keeping doing stuff. It's weird to see Illidan with cards at first because I think they had to give him the cards, or else people wouldn't realize he was with Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think so too. Because like at first sight, I was like, "Wait, what? Illidan? Why?" And then I saw the cards, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, they're throwing us off the chorus. Like they just put like a bunch of heroes. We're not going to know what's going on."
Yeah.
But yeah, so why don't we watch the trailer?
Yeah. Let me get it started here.
much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it was.
So,
February
yeah,
19th to 20th. 2 days.
yeah, I mean, nice and cozy. If you're wondering how it's going to work, the first day is going to start at 2 p.m. Pacific on the 19th, and it's going to focus more on like the game announcements. And it seems they didn't give exact schedules, but it seems that there's going to be an opening ceremony, and then there's going to be 6 channels themed after different games, and they're going to just have like 3-hour panels of various things happening related to the game. And then day 2 is more the community stuff, like community showcase contests and exhibitions. And something which was interesting was that if you saw in the trailer, they were talking about um, little little things you could expect. Like you wouldn't just see developers; you would also have artists doing things. And around 46 seconds in, you can see an artist working with a model that looks like a forest ancient, and that was the winner of the free Shadowlands mount vote last year.
Yes,
Um,
very, very careful watchers of the trailer noticed this scene here.
And it's not just like, oh, an Ardenweald tree, because in the monitor to the left, you can see that there is a naked human mounted up on the
Mm-hmm.
tree.
Mm-hmm. Let me try to zoom this in a little bit so we can see it even more clear.
Yeah.
Here we go. Like that should make it a little bit more clear to see. There. You see the naked human on top of the tree. So no doubt this is the mount that we're looking at.
Yeah.
I can't believe people noticed it so fast.
Yeah. I mean, well, people have eagle eyes, and personally, I did not vote for the tree. I wanted the cat.
I wanted the carpet.
So I hope the other ones can
Where's...
be added to the game at some point.
Wait, not carpet. It was a book.
Yeah, the flying book.
Flying book, yes, not carpet.
Yeah. It's funny because like they didn't announce anything with charity at the end of last year, so I think it would be a great it would be big hype if they announced some of the other winners as charity things for 2021.
Yeah,
And they
good
always
point.
announce something with charity at BlizzCon, so it would be really sad to not have anything for 2020 and then not announce anything at this BlizzCon. So
I see people saying
comments...
tree gang and caterpillar gang. Where's
Yeah,
where's my book gang?
That sounds so nerdy. It's like, oh, book gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can go to the book club together.
A lot of people on Wowhead are like, oh, the tree's so boring, I want a different one. But yeah, I just hope they add all the other ones in. But I mean, just remember, this is a free mount. You don't really need to do anything for this. Yes, it might seem to have something similar to the Infernal rig, but I mean, there are only so many mount rigs that you can make. There are only so many creatures out there. You know, you can't always reinvent the wheel. And it looks really cool, and no one will mistake you for having an Infernal, and you already got a bear with cool animation as part of this bundle. So, yeah. So, yeah, as a reminder, BlizzConline is for free. The amount you get for free if you're subscribed to WoW. And, yeah,
Wait,
I think that's about what...
You get a mount if you're subscribed?
Oh, no, the Wandering Ancient.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Wandering Ancient tree is free. Just to clarify that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so and yeah, I mean,
Um,
with this, pretty sure there's going to be TBC Classic. I I would assume 9.1 because we're way overdue for 9.1 information.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see them being like, normally we have a PTR at this point, but there's no hints that the PTR is like prepped for 9.1, so I can almost see them being like, oh, if you're really hype about this presentation, the PTR is going up tomorrow after BlizzConline, or something like that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to really drive PTR testing, because a lot of people don't really test PTRs, and maybe this will get them some more data that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think an event like that does make people spend a little bit of time to jump into whatever they've got as a demo, because that's the thing too. Maybe during this, normally at BlizzCons we have some demo available to test out and
Yeah,
to
and they get
play.
valuable data from that. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to give like your feedback, what was your favorite
Mm-hmm.
part, and they don't have that sort of information, but
Mm-hmm.
they maximize the PTR announcement they could.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So yeah, that was a
So
wandering ancient glimpse inside the trailer, and I think that kind of wraps up the BlizzConline parts of the show. Um, So what we know now is we have the dates, of course, February 19th, 20th. We got a little sneak peek on the scheduling as it starts at 2 p.m. on both days. We got the teaser or sneak peek, even almost call it deep dive into watching the artist Helm in much detail from all different angles, which will go on sale on, I believe, the first day as well at 3 p.m. And yeah, and we have Blizzard's 30th anniversary going on at the same time as the event itself, so it's kind of like celebrating multiple things. And yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. And we went through the in game bundles as well. Mostly just covering the World of Warcraft related things. There are more
yeah.
rewards that you can look into if you're interested to see what the other games have to offer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing people are really hoping they announce in 9.1 are more changes to make things friendly for alts. And there's been a lot of debates on this recently, and Blizzard has done one thing to help with alts, which was very well received on Friday. Torghast layer unlocks are now account wide, and everyone's like, this is
Yes.
fabulous. This is great. There are still many more things people feel Blizzard could do, but yeah, I mean, this seems to be a very
I
good, well
was
received idea.
I was in the middle of doing my layer 2 on my fifth alt when this was announced. So I turned right back. I was on floor 2, turned right back and said, great, let's do layer 8 then instead. I never understood why you have to go through all the different layers one by one, especially the first ones, because they're not even hard. It's just tedious to go through
Right.
them, especially if you are getting help clearing them as well. Then it's just a time-consuming thing and not really a competition or competitive feeling in any way. So it's a good change that should have been there even sooner. But this is, I guess, what happens when things are released in the middle of the holidays. But yeah, we got Torghast layers finally unlocked, which makes alting a little bit nicer. There's other things that a lot of people have pointed out that are not very alt friendly though, and the question is if Blizzard will give in on some of these other things too, or if Torghast, account wide layer unlocking is everything. What do you think, Perk?
Yeah. So, I mean, the Maw entry quest feels like that could be a good
Mm-hmm.
target. Like, it's
I've done
really
it so
immersive
many times.
the first time, but you can't really speed up the process too much. I mean, yes, if you're a speedrunner, you can, but for your average player, it's like, you're escorting people around and you're running because you can't mount up, and it just seems very slow, and
Mm-hmm.
there's like a lot of RPs, so you can't just like go around killing extra things. And I feel like that could be streamlined, maybe have like a dialogue light option, or I don't know, it feels like it gets old very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
and
yeah,
also, even as a speedrunner, there's tons of parts that can't really be speed
right.
runned. Speed. Yeah, you know what I mean. Because
Yeah,
there's tons and tons of escort parts. You have to walk slowly with other NPCs, and you can't walk ahead, and you can't skip anything. You just have to do everything step by step, and it just takes so long. And especially if you haven't unlocked the mount yet. I know for people who've now unlocked the mount is account wide, makes things a little bit nicer. But if you haven't, then it's just so time consuming.
Yeah, another thing that a lot of people are complaining about, and it's not just an all-friendly issue, but related to mains, is the anima. Like, yes, maybe it makes sense from an RP perspective that there is a shortage, so you
The
feel
anima
like you
drought
can't
is
buy
real.
anything. But, a lot of people feel like they're struggling to keep up unlocking things on their mains with anima, and when they hit a new renown level, it doesn't really mean anything because they don't have enough anima to spend on like the new cosmetics that come out, and it's really difficult to maintain that on alts if you can't even really maintain the flow on your main.
Oh yeah, I'm struggling. I've got like 4K anima right now. I recently spent 10K to get level 3 transportation system, and I want to start upgrading the other parts, and it's gonna take forever. I haven't even bothered with Queen's Garden because when I looked into it, it seemed like to access the more rare parts of it, you need to access all the layers. And if that's the case, that's going to cost me. At the time, I thought the redeemed soul was a problem because we were only getting 5 a week. So
Yeah,
I
now that's
was,
no longer an issue because you're
yeah,
getting 50.
now that's not a huge issue. Now there's just no anima. So I can't unlock anything. I haven't even thought about it on my alts at the moment. I'm trying to do only the part which I guess matters for me on my alts, which is the anima conductor. So I get access to the different mounts and rares that are, specific to that covenant. But yeah, there's so little anima in the world. You need
Like
10,000 to get the next level. You get 5 from killing this rare.
or it's like 35, for your mythic, and it's just like
Yeah.
really
Like add a 0 to that.
yeah. So I don't know if they're going to like try to make it purposely easier as time goes on, but a lot of people, I do the posts, I'm like, you can get this cute pet this week, or transmog opened up and people are just like, well, I can't buy any of this.
Yeah.
Like it's
Mm-hmm.
cool. I'll buy this in a month, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Now see these
So yeah.
mounts like 5K anima. I was like, nope. I need to wait. I can't get those yet. I want to upgrade my sanctum, which I'm still very far from. But yep.
Yeah, one example was how when the Necro Lord anima conductor was bugged and the world quest was giving 250 anima, a lot of people assumed that that was working correctly and the other ones were broken because it's like, it's the anima conductor. It should give you more anima. And instead
Mm-hmm.
they nerfed Necro Lord to give you hardly anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel like just maybe it wasn't emphasized enough that anima was sort of a shortage because I think a lot of people now are just very worried about their anima flow that they maybe weren't the first few weeks. Now they're like, oh well, if I had known this I wouldn't have bought everything along saved up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, doesn't really seem fun for alts. And then
No.
like you were saying with sanctums, if you want to do different, a lot of people want to do alts so they can have all 4 covenant stories and features. And if it takes so much time to prep an alt with covenants, then the alt is not really experiencing all of the sanctum content, which kind of defeats the purpose of having the alts and the different covenants.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I can't
yeah.
even complete it on my main, so I haven't even thought about completing it on my alts. Right now, I'm happy if I can just get rank 1 or 2 on anima conductor. I accidentally put the wrong one on my, I think it was my Necro Lord. I put my first point into transportation system instead of anima conductor. So now I have to refarm the 1000 anima on a fresh alt. It's not very fun. We do have the weekly quest which gives 250, which is nice. But other than that, it's yeah, it's difficult to farm anima. A real anima shortage.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would also like the Flight Master's Whistleback. Like, yes, the
Yeah.
geography of Shadowlands is different than Legion, but there were other uses for the Flight Master's Whistle besides just, getting to a world quest area. You could use it for, like, if you were stuck somewhere or
Mm-hmm.
swimming, you could use it in lots of different situations. And you can't really use that now.
Yeah,
So
because we kind of have a taste of that in the Maw because of the what is it called? The cipher. So it's
right.
kind of a similar idea where it takes you to the base, and it's really nice. I almost use it on cooldown every time, because it's always nice to be able to quickly get to a point, where the main hub is, and that's what the flight master whistle used to help us with. So I do kind of miss that.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll announce some alt-friendly improvements at BlizzConline, and maybe they'll be like, "Oh, we made changes. Like, test this out on the PTR and see if it
Mm-hmm.
feels better."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I know. It's sort of a weird position. I mean, I know as a streamer, like you sort of, you have endless content, and like you're getting into PvP, and there's always something to do, and you're not usually a person that is like exploring the PTR in great detail because you've got so many things to complete on live servers. But it definitely feels for people that we they have a lot more time to focus on live because there's no PTR yet. And the way things are sort of staggered, it feels like a lot of people aren't really sure what they can work on because there's not a lot of new things, and you can't really grind out anima. And a lot of the content was like very front loaded and rushed in December, so it's this weird. I don't know. It's like this like Twilight Zone. You can't really do a lot of stuff right now in WoW, or even if you have endless
Mm-hmm.
time with the pandemic, like the chores would be unfun to get your alt up to speed, farming anima 35 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like I don't know if Blizzard purposely did this to see, like, normally they do January releases, maybe they wanted to see what would happen if they didn't do one, but I don't know. I kind of like I think I prefer it where the content is staggered a bit more, or
Mm-hmm.
when the staggering ends we start getting hints for the next thing. The schedule feels a little, I don't know, like feast or famine. Like there's like so much info in December, and then like
And then
January we didn't really
nothing.
have too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
And I was for
mhm.
sure thought we'd get stuff when the Covenant campaign story ended, but now it's just like, nope, you get 2 renown per week. That is your content. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, for me, from a sort of streamer position, which I guess in this case is a maybe you could call it a privileged situation. I do, or actually, I think it's my interest in the game itself, which just causes me to have a lot more fun in the game. Because for myself, I feel like I'm finally starting to see the result of the things that I've been doing over time. So, for example, working on the achievement where I have to do every PvP quest 20 times. I'm starting to get
Right.
to the end of that. Or the normal exploration quests. I recently started getting the last kills on that because some of those rares required Anima Conductor level 3 of specific covenants. So I needed to wait for that to be done. And then I had the normal quest achievements to repeat Parasol Peril World Quest 10
Oh
times.
yeah.
Very fun. I'm starting to reach the end of those, but I'm still not really there. So I still, log in on a daily basis, and I look out what quests are there, which ones do I need for my achievements, and then I also go there and kill all the different rares that can give me a transmog, toy, or mount. I recently got the mount from Woodbringer. I got the one from Narissa. I'm still farming Famu. I'm still farming. The Ascended Skymane, I think it's called, yeah, the Bastion one.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, I do not feel like things have slowed down and there's nothing to do, but that's because of the way that I play the game. I play the game from all different aspects. Also, I do enjoy PvP too, so I spend a lot of time playing PvP as well, trying to get better. One thing that I don't do that much, I guess, is Mythic Plus, and I have heard from a lot of people that their interest in Mythic Plus has decreased. Um,
Yeah,
so I can't say it
there's
from
been
my
some
own,
issues with that.
yeah, I can't say it from my own experience and my own opinion on it since I don't really do Mythic Plus. But apparently the lack of rewards is what's feeling less fun. Or what do
Yeah,
you think about that? Have you heard much about the feedback on
yeah,
Mythic Plus?
yeah. We do this weekly article series on the best and worst dungeons to complete, and last week it was basically just like all of these are bad. Like,
Oh,
like
okay.
everyone's gonna be PvPing instead.
Mm,
And just like the new affix combos for a lot of people are kind of off-putting, and then the 35 anima isn't really exciting. And I think a lot of people think that the PvP gearing system for the weekly vault seems better. So yeah, it's I've just heard just some not great things about Mythic Plus, or for casual people that don't have as much time, that has their playtime more limited. They're still struggling on, like, you're thinking about getting kills for rares for achievements, and they're just like trying to find the time to get, anima in between work. So maybe they
Mm-hmm.
haven't reached that point where they feel like they can access more content. Maybe they feel like they're in this, like,
Oh yeah.
in between,
Yeah.
like, point where they're like, oh, I'm trying to keep up and it's overwhelming and this
Mm-hmm.
seems fun, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
there yet, type of deal. But yeah, hopefully BlizzConline will be kind of a breath of fresh air. Like we have seen, traffic drop off, or if an interesting game release comes out, people will like wander over to that and like stay with that game for a few more days
Mm-hmm.
instead of back to Shadowlands. So yeah, I definitely hope the BlizzCon hype train gets started and we get some more interviews as to
Mm-hmm.
what comes next, because normally we Blizzard announces what comes next. Like when they announced BFA, we knew that Queen Ashara was the midpoint boss, and like we don't know what's coming next. And I think that the knowing helps people stay hooked on the game,
Mm-hmm.
as a thing to look forward to. But it's
Or
awesome that
on
you're still having fun, and like at a really high level too.
Oh
I think
yeah, yeah, I'm
super
having
cool.
lots of fun actually.
Yeah.
And I'm playing lots of PvP too, and on the topic of PvP, yeah, the gearing has been really fun. So PvP gearing started slowly. A lot of people were immediately saying how PvP gearing is OP. Look at these people getting 233 weapons. But the thing with the PvP gearing is that it actually started really, really slow. It's now that people are starting to hit the 220 item levels, where PvEers were able to get that weeks ago, um, because of how the conquest is gated. So there was a max amount of conquest that you can get on a weekly basis, which can barely just afford one piece of item. The thing that still felt nice with PvP gearing is that you could specifically target gear. So, for
Right.
example, what I did at the beginning was I didn't spend any conquest for 3 weeks, so I got 0 item upgrades for 3 weeks, except whatever I got from the vault itself. To be able to afford the weapons. But once I got it, and I was also PvPing, so I got my 2.4 rating, I was able to use my honor to then upgrade that weapon to 233 immediately. So I went from having a 184 weapon, being very unlucky in my normal and heroic grades, getting no weapons, and then suddenly I have a 233 weapon, which felt really nice. And because I had it as a targeted goal, sure, it took me, a month or so to get it, but at least I had a goal and I could work towards it. And I think with that having said, the gearing is actually probably part of the reason why people are getting bored of Mythic Plus, because
Mm.
if you're unlucky and don't get gear, which is fine, I think it's good to have, more scarce gear, not so much gear where you have 20 epics in your bag and you don't know what to do with them. It's hard to target pieces of loot to upgrade. So having a vendor for PvE or for Mythic Plus, I think would probably improve that experience by a lot. If people could do Mythic Plus and get some kind of currency that they could then save up and later on upgrade, I think that would make Mythic Plus feel a lot more rewarding for people.
Yeah, I had two more observations. The first was just a quick one. I saw Blizzard on their Instagram advertising for a bunch of new World of Warcraft positions, and one I saw a few people linking was for the rewards department, an assistant. I think it was assistant,
Mm.
associate. And I know that, I mean, it's not just a one person team, but I think it was interesting how they were expanding the team, because maybe they're like, oh,
Yeah.
like PvP is like really nuanced and hype. Like if we could get some more people, maybe they could polish, other parts of the game that people don't view it with similar happiness. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing was we didn't do the show for a few weeks, but in the meantime we had last week a bunch of dungeon and raid tuning, which implies that some dungeons were not really fun to run if there were issues in tuning that had to be fixed, and this included a big overhaul to the Stone Legion general timers, as well as a lot of changes to Necrotic Wake. So, maybe that will get some people back into doing that content that otherwise gave up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blizzard did a bunch of class tuning, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, maybe 2, 3. And tomorrow they're doing another round of 10 specs. I don't know how this will play out because instead of tuning individual abilities, they were just cranking up the damage by like various percentages.
It's gonna be
So
terrible.
yeah,
War is
but
already doing so much damage in PvP. Now it's going to be interesting to see
yeah,
because I think if you look at the list, I think they're mainly targeting the specs for PvE reasons, but I do think some of
yeah,
these are going to be quite hurtful in PvP.
yeah. And it's like
But
if
I guess
someone
we'll
doesn't have
see.
utility, this won't like give them utility. It will just give them like slightly more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh so you like I don't think it's gonna fix like a design issue with the spec, but yeah, I think that the fact that Blizzard is doing the changes now as opposed to waiting shows that they definitely want to keep people hooked on playing the game now, and maybe 9.0 is farther off than people think. Um usually like the first patch they do a bunch of class changes, but they're doing some more hot fixes now in between the patches. So when you're like, have you heard anything, I'm like, well, between the class buffs and the dungeon buffs, like in the raid changes, it probably shows that there are some PvE issues that they're trying to iron out right now.
Mm-hmm. And we can probably see some more tuning coming up. I mean, I do think it's nice that they're taking the tuning quite slowly. So there's
Hmm.
no huge and drastic change to make people feel really bad about what they're playing. And it's also, I suppose, nice that this tuning has mostly been to increase people's damage instead of decreasing it. Because it's always a very bad feeling when you're being nerfed. So I think for a lot of classes it was just increasing with 3%. So it's like a small little push of positive. Oh, is perk gone?
Right, Paw, what did you do?
Oh,
Test.
you're back.
Am I back?
I think.
Weird. I don't. Test 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm
Okay.
assuming you're delayed.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay.
I was. I was just waving my arms around.
Oh,
It
I
wasn't
think you're
saying
okay now.
anything. Okay. Yeah, maybe it just was a lag spike.
Uh,
I know, like the internet.
are you able to change the server?
Yeah.
If
Well,
you could
it's set
change
to
it to
US
US
West.
Central, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. Du, 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 du.
I think is
Oh,
this better?
yes, perfect.
Cool.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's weird because I obviously wasn't tilting the mic because I was like waving my arms around. So yeah, I'm glad it's back.
Yes,
Yeah,
welcome
it wasn't
back.
wasn't saying anything too much, just was saying that like obviously PvE people had some concerns, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
good that Blizzard was doing tuning, and I think they wanted to hold off on drastically changing covenants and legendaries until patches so they could like give refunds or like wipe progression, wipe covenant choices
Mm-hmm.
if it got like really bad, like if
Mm-hmm.
they totally reworked an ability.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think that some specs aren't happy with their mechanics and they want to see something bigger. But you know, more buffs are good. I think that Blizzard. Oh yeah, we didn't put this in the notes, but they like totally buffed Kyrian and Venthyr, and they gave some reasoning why. I mean, we all
Oh, for
knew the
mission
reason
tables.
why. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Blizzard explained it, and I think that for classes, it would be good to kind of do what League of Legends does and explain why they're doing the class change. I think people want to know the context behind class changes,
Yeah,
and
I
they like
agree.
when devs comment on things.
Mm-hmm.
So, something we do on Wowhead is we reach out to our class writers and ask them to like explain the buffs and how much they think it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people really like that. And if Blizzard did an official version as to like what they're hoping to do, like with this buff, or like why did they just do flat percentage buffs as opposed to like looking at an ability, I think that could add some goodwill and just
Definitely.
explain some things.
Yeah, I mean, it helps people understand if you're given a reason for it. Even if people aren't happy, they'll be like, okay, I guess I understand why, but maybe, this can be fixed. Because for someone who, for example, plays only PvP and they see warrior damage being buffed, it's like, wait, question mark, question mark, question mark, why? So
Yeah.
it would be nice to have it talked about. I'm assuming that this is more from a PvE standpoint, and I think having Blizzard explain that would also make things feel a bit more comforting.
Yeah, because it's like it's not all straightforward. Like it's not just, oh, I'm gonna deal 3% more damage. It's like, well, when you take this aura into account
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like scaling and this and that, it just works out to be different.
Mhm.
So I think it's just good to explain that more. If someone is like, oh, my spec isn't taken to Mythic Plus because like I don't have interrupts or utility, they may be like, okay, cool, I do slightly more damage, but I'm still not going to be taken to like the Mythic Plus because I'm not like as useful.
Yeah, like
So
I
it'd
don't
be
I
good.
don't AoE
Yeah,
as good as this other class, so why would they take me?
yeah. So it'd be good if Blizzard could be like, we know that there's an AoE problem we're looking at with 9-1, but in the meantime, we're buffing damage to help in raids. Like I
Yeah.
think just little phrases like that would help.
Mhm.
Uh,
Indeed.
but yeah,
And yeah, back
yeah,
on the topic about covenants, we have
yeah.
the
We just wanted to
campaign finales.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight some of the things that were going on with Covenants since our last show.
Mhm.
And the big thing was that the Renown 22, a bunch of stuff happened, like a Soulbind unlocked and Transmog unlocked, and you get a mount that week. But like story content wise, the Covenant campaign finale, you had the final quest, and in some cases it was very sad. They all kind of ended on like an uplifting moment, but still a bit of a cliffhanger for the future. So they're definitely going to continue in patch 9.1. So
Mhm.
just to kind of review where we left off, I think we're going to see some more of this at BlizzConline, but you know,
Yeah, it's
it's
actually
no
really nice
one.
timing. They
Yeah,
end right before the BlizzCon
right.
line.
So I mean, we have Uther. No one really. The whole conflict from Afterlife's Bastion isn't really wrapped up. Like obviously he's no longer with the dark side, but the mystery of Arthas being thrown into the maw, I don't think a lot of people know what happened with that. Like that's still
Yeah.
kind of like a secret.
Mhm.
And the Kyrians have to think about, was their way of always wanting order the right choice because it led to this insurrection and rebellion.
Mhm.
The Necro Lords, we still have some issues with Kel'Thuzad remaining. He was kind of, taken away at the end, and all the houses are kind of in disarray. And we have that storyline teased that Thrall at some point is going to have a reunion with his family. That was in one of the interviews. So,
Mhm.
Draka's story needs to continue.
Mhm.
The Night Fae one, it's kind of like the reverse of the Curian because we did get resolution from the Afterlife cinematic. Like we learn what happens to Aralorn. Um, and but it's still like we don't know what's up with Tyrande and the Night Warriors and Ysera and how that's all going to play out. And then with the Venthyr, same thing. Kel'Thuzad, and we've also got Kael'thas, who is, still not fully redeemed, and he's really angry at everyone, and he wants his vengeance.
Mhm.
So yeah. So definitely, I think they wrapped up a lot of the behind the scenes stories. Like I think it's really cool that the Venthyr ends up with like a new style of government. But the main characters we know from Azeroth still have their personal journeys to continue. So hopefully we'll learn more about that in 9.1.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they all left some really, really interesting holes in their stories that can definitely be dived into. And yeah, I think 9-1 will be a good time for that. Maybe some cinematics on it even for BlizzConline. Who knows?
Yeah, like I think it'd be really cool if they showed some cinematics and
Mm-hmm.
then at like the opening ceremony and then in the breakout you could have the like Karen Gregory or people explaining how they made the cinematics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, obviously going back to the anima conversation, a lot of the other stuff that's unlocked since then is just like you can buy more things with anima, but honorary shout out to the battle pets, especially the Jellycat that you can get at Renown 27. They'll do really cute things with animations, like the jellycat, like chases like oozes and is like really cute and
Mhm.
covers you in goo. And the Kyrian and Venthyr mounts have like their own little mounts. I think even the Ardenwheel one, maybe it's not as visually exciting, but it summons butterflies and like does like cute little Ardenwheel emotes. So they're all kind of special in their own way. Obviously, they cost anima as well as grateful offerings.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yay, currency grind. But they are very cute.
There's actually
So
so many currencies in Shadowlands. Because if we've been playing so much, or I have been playing so much, I'm starting to find it normal. I'm starting to,
right.
know all the currencies, but I'm still remembering, and I still get reminded when like when you just mentioned grateful offerings. There's so many currencies in the game.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think this sort of ends the like uh like
The
WoW
game
section
related
of the
things.
show.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of game industry news, more so than usual, that we wanted to touch on because it involved Blizzard, and based on like the traffic, like a lot of people found this interesting as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you want to read out subs, if this is a good like in between point, and then we can discuss the industry stuff
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Before we jump into the industry things, let me quickly give a shout out to you guys who have supported the channel today. We got Happy Days 0518 with the 5-month resub, Nomahu with the 6-month resub, Taylor with the 11 months resub, Thranduil with the 5 months resub, Cyfox with the 1,600 bits, Lincoln with the 37 months resub, Berthier 2-month resub, Banky the Machine 6-month resub, and Makan with 17-month resub. That was a lot of resubs to the channel. Lots of support. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. As you guys support Wowhead, you help the site get better, and including the things that is outside of the site. For example, this show as well. So thank you guys. It's very
Yeah, speaking of
appreciated.
things outside the show, I'm hoping for 9-1 so we can get back to doing the data mining streams. I know
Oh
Stevan
yeah, get
is
Stefan
missing
back
that.
on the stream.
Yeah, so we're all ready to do those streams again.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, for people who don't know, Stefan was sitting on the stream and doing data mining live so people could see how things are data mined and put together to become more understandable, for the rest of us more uh, less knowledgeable people. So it was
yeah,
it was really fun to see him put the pieces together, and yeah, that'll be really cool once that starts again.
yeah. Hopefully not during BlizzConline, but sooner than later.
Yeah, PTR right now. Okay, be right back. I'm gonna go watch some data mining.
So for industry news, we kind of have a mixed bag. Blizzard was nominated for positive inclusivity in
hmm
Shadowlands, but they were also in the hot seat for making a clumsy statement why they didn't want to follow some diversity hiring suggestions. And then it's also some news that they brought a studio on board to help with Blizzard work. Uh, but we also learned that they got rid of their classic division that worked on Warcraft 3 Reforged. So a lot of like ups and downs for Blizzard
hmm
in the news.
hmm
So why don't we start off with one of the more positive ones, which was that Shadowlands was nominated as an outstanding video game in the 32 annual GLAAD Media Awards, and they added games as a category in 2018. And they used these awards to send a powerful message of acceptance to audiences globally, and they honor media for fair, accurate, and inclusive representation of LGBT communities.
hmm
So, Blizzard has made an issue and made an effort a lot more in Shadowlands to be inclusive and diverse. We've seen this from their customization options, where they've tried to have a lot more realistic, diverse skin tones, hairstyles, for all races, not just humans. You
And
can
features
change your
too, like
gender.
eyes,
Yeah,
noses, mouth, things that are kind of
bars.
taken for granted. But if you look into it, there wasn't really that much variation over there. So a lot more variation now available.
Yeah, the scars are great too because it's not just like, oh, I'm this, perfect like 20 something perpetually, young warrior. I think having the scars and the older faces is also good.
Mm-hmm.
And going along with customization, you can change your gender at the barber shop now. You don't need to do like a character transfer and then like change it within that. It's just, very easy to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And it might sound really simple, straightforward explaining this, but as someone that was sort of data mining all these options, we got a lot of anger sent our way for posting these things. So while this shouldn't be like a controversial big step in 2020, it was a big deal to some people that were really angry that some elves got a certain skin tone or had scars or had different hair colors. So you know, all these things contributed to a welcoming environment, and sadly there was more community resistance than there should have been.
Yep.
But looking also at the nomination blurb, they also wanted to highlight how Blizzard handled various inclusive stories, such as Pelagos, who is a trans character that is voiced by a trans actor. And there's also just like a lot of casual relationships off into the side, like the Night Warrior couple,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not in the book, but like it's not in the game, but Shadows Rising has a romance as well. And there's lots of like little characters off to the side, like there's a Bastion side quest
Mm-hmm.
with like two female characters in a soul binding ritual. There's just like lots of things that where it's not like in your face or heavy handed or like, oh, a big declaration of love and now one of them is going to die. So it's nice just to have it feel natural and not heavy handed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it'll be interesting to see what Blizzard does when we get back to Azeroth, because it is a little weird that it's like, oh, the Shadowlands is like so inclusive after everyone, dies and is like forced into this fate, and then their appearance changes and like they can be themselves, but only if they're first, doomed to be like a plant
Yeah.
or like a blue human. Like it's a little the lore kind of breaks down, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they do when you actually go back to Azeroth. And like will we see the inclusive stories continue with like more sort of like familiar or canonical settings.
Mm-hmm.
So, but obviously I think that this is a good step. And I know at first when I saw some of the changes I was concerned, looking at the stories I was like, oh, will they just like highlight one couple, will it be heavy handed? But I think that as the Shadowlands development continued and there was like more side characters, maybe the extra polish gave them more time to like add like little characters. I think that the world feels very like rich and natural. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
good job, Blizzard.
Yeah.
On the
Going from
opposite side,
positive to not so
yeah,
positive.
yeah. So yeah, how do we explain this? Like, it's a very U.S. specific thing.
Yeah,
But
I had no idea about
so
this, so I
yeah.
had to quickly like read it up. So apparently, there's something called Rooney Rule,
Mhm.
which is a a rule to try to encourage um, more diversity by having companies. Actually, it's not a good idea for me to explain it. I'll have you
Okay, sure.
explain it instead,
All right.
because
So
I don't want to say anything wrong.
So it started off as a policy from the National Football League, requiring the leagues to interview minority and female candidates
Mm-hmm.
for football, which football in the U.S. is where people throw the ball and that they kick the ball. It's not soccer. Football, European football is not what we're talking about here. This is like
American
helmets,
football.
body contact,
Mm-hmm.
and loud halftime shows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, it's like very it skews towards a certain demographic for hiring positions, and this rule was meant to incentivize the league to interview female candidates, minority candidates, to hopefully increase representation in the industry.
Yeah, so it doesn't force any kind of ratio, or it doesn't mean that you have to hire X amount of women or X amount of minorities, but it means that you have to then put that effort into actually interviewing and considering more women and minorities, right? I think that's
Yeah,
how I understood
yeah.
it.
So there no like solution is perfect. It some people could say, oh, like now the interview is the token thing, and like they have no plans to actually hire people or be
Yeah.
welcoming to like make people feel qualified enough to have the interview. But regardless, it has sparked more discussion, and it has gotten more corporations talking about things they can do to like bridge the gap in the workplace, and it has become popular and gained momentum in other industries besides football. So the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations recently called on the video games industry, specifically Blizzard and Electronic Arts, to adopt this rule for their open positions. And keep in mind, like, you don't need to hire them, it's just having the interview step. Um, and Blizzard had a reply that was kind of clunky and not so great. It was the proposal leaves no room for the company's management or board of directors to exercise discretion in how new hire decisions are structured. Implementing a policy that would extend such an approach to all hiring decisions amounts to an unworkable encroachment on the company's ability to run its business and compete for talent in a highly competitive, fast-moving market.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds very robotic and also kind of tone deaf, like like women on one end of the spectrum and then like talent and competition is on the other side of the spectrum. And like I know that Blizzard does a lot of cool things, like they have the diversity booth at BlizzCon. They have like a women in gaming group. Their life at Blizzard hiring Twitter is highlighting lots of inclusive things. Um, so if the company was like, we don't want just to do token interviews, we want to like nurture people in different ways, or do other things, that's cool. But this statement just sounds really like it's a mouthful. It's just like a bunch of like jargon, and it sounds really cold and
Yeah.
doesn't sound. It sounds like they don't care about the issue, not that they want to try a different approach. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
sound very good. And this is the thing that we've seen with Blizzard a lot. Like they're not,
Like,
like we're
don't you guys
talking
have
about.
phones?
Yeah, like we're like, oh, they're gonna do like a cinematic and then like have the helm go on sale, and it's like they may be really good at that timing, but with this stuff, it's like don't you have phones, or like the Hong Kong situation, or how like the arena prize pool money like was not, it was like in place of Blizzard, not on top of Blizzard. There's just been kind of clumsy things how they when outside of the game, it's like they don't understand how the larger
Mm-hmm.
media is going to perceive some of the things
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think they make their statements very very I guess directly business, and that can sometimes be taken wrong and is not really what PR is meant to be, because PR is meant to consider how it's being perceived by the opposite side. And it does feel a little bit like Blizzard doesn't really consider that too much, because like you said, they have been making efforts for more diversity and things like that, and they could even use that in their defense, but instead it became a business thing of like, no, this is not going to work for us, and
Yeah,
that's it.
and
um
if you compare it to what Electronic Arts replied to Vice, who broke the news on this, they said, I'm reading it from the article.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the Wowhead post. I have a separate page up.
Mm-hmm.
It's we're in regular conversations with our shareholders and we value the feedback we receive. The board is committed to maintaining hiring practices that promote inclusivity and diversity at EA. More broadly, EA believes that a diverse and inclusive workforce is key to our success. It fuels our creative culture and enables us to create amazing games and experience for millions of players around the world. EA is committed to attracting diverse, dynamic talent, prioritizing inclusive values and practices at every step of the employee journey. So that just sounds a lot more human and
Yeah,
like
a lot more
understand.
caring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like even if EA says, we've decided not to adapt this because, we prioritize inclusive values by doing XYZ, like they've set the statement up to still come across that they value this rule. Like Blizzard just sounds like it's like a nuisance in the
Mm-hmm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
and like they don't understand the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds really robotic. It
Did
doesn't sound.
EA say no to it, or are they adopting it?
Oh, they just said that they're working with the shareholders, and they value inclusivity. So they didn't. They
Oh,
didn't. They
this is
didn't
the final,
say.
so we don't know if. Okay, okay, gotcha. That
Yeah,
was the full
they were
statement.
just. They
Mm-hmm.
just said that they are considering the proposal,
Yeah. Okay.
while
So
Blizzard was like, no.
yeah, 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 yeah. Gotcha.
And what's interesting was that they say the Blizzard says the company has implemented this policy for director and CEO nominees. So it's like, well, why don't you apply that to people in other positions then?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've read the article too.
Yeah,
So Blizzard is already
yeah,
doing this for the higher positions, like CEO, for example.
yeah, like the
Um,
top.
yeah, at the
Yeah,
top. But
yeah.
they don't want to adopt it for the lower ends and
Or they mean like the medium end.
or medium. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 1% they're adopting it, but like I mean maybe it's different in Sweden, but like CEO, it's like Ian is not the CEO of WoW.
No, no, no,
Like
no.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
people
It's the people
above
behind.
Ian.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, like a lot of people are affected by this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, or would not be affected by this. So yeah, it's yeah, just the tone is not good, and then it makes you wonder if they actually care because if they could have just said, like we follow this and we have these other policies showing that we value diversity, but we think that this would not be effective. Like we want to nurture like all steps of the way. We don't just want to give an interview and then like that's it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know. The statement is not very well worded, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really get across that they value what this rule is trying to do, even if maybe if it's not perfect. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't know if Blizzard thought they would just get drowned out by like BlizzConline stuff, but uh, they definitely need to do a better job with these sort of
The
global
PR.
issues that come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of
Then.
not great there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The next bit of news is also on the industry level of things, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what this entails, but so we have a studio, Vicarious Visions. Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay. Has merged into Blizzard to continue working on more Blizzard games.
Yeah. And you may not have heard the studio, but they've been working on a lot of Activision products for a while. So, for example, they worked on Destiny when that was part of Activision. They were a support studio that has worked on Guitar Hero, Skylanders, um, stuff like that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remasters. But with this change, they are specifically focusing on supporting Blizzard products, so they can't work on some of these titles like Spider-Man or Guitar Hero now. They are exclusively focusing on supporting Blizzard products.
Mm-hmm. So the studio has existed for some time, and they've been
Yeah,
working on
1990.
multiple games, right? So some
Yeah.
Blizzard games and some non-Blizzard games, and the
Mhm.
difference now is that they're becoming exclusive with Blizzard, basically.
Yeah. And
Okay. Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like Blizzard absorbed the studio and they are considering the 200-person team part of Blizzard. they will remain working in Albany, New York,
Mm-hmm.
but the former studio head, Jen O'Neill, has been promoted to Blizzard Executive Vice President of Development.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's led to speculation like, will they be working on the Diablo 2 remaster? Will they
Mm-hmm.
be working on Overwatch 2? Are they going to be working on WoW? It definitely just feels like Blizzard like got a manpower boost by getting these 200 people on board.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, I mean, they've worked on lots of things that have been gotten good reviews, high quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's just when you see that Blizzard was getting rid of so many people recently.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
thing. They had to get rid of people to then get more people in.
right, I guess you could. I guess Blizzard would say, well, we like got rid of our community and esports, so instead we're going to just like hire a bunch of developers to
To
crank the
make more
games out
games.
faster.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm also curious how this is going to work out with remote work because Blizzard has been so, adamant that everyone needs to be in Irvine in California, but Vicarious Visions is based in New York and they're all going to stay there. So maybe with the pandemic, Blizzard is realizing that no, you don't need to just all be in the same place
Mm-hmm.
game. Or maybe they'll parcel out some games just to Vicarious Visions so there's not like a time zone or distance clash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine that the pandemic has forced Blizzard and other companies too to become a lot better with dealing with non-remote
Mm.
programming or developing in general. So I think this is probably proof that it works. So that's why they're allowing it to happen across the country like that.
Yeah, and then the plot thickened in a Bloomberg report by Jason Schreier
Mm-hmm.
following up that yeah, kind of speculated on what they were working on. And we learned some very interesting and kind of sad news talking about people leaving that the classic games division, which worked on a bunch of projects like Warcraft 3 Reforged, StarCraft Remastered, Heroes of the Storm, like a lot of maintenance games, as well as Reforged, which didn't go well. Blizzard essentially got rid of that department. A lot of people left. You may have
Oh.
seen them at the new studios or they joined other departments. And that legacy group was going to be working on Diablo 2. And apparently, that instead has been parceled out to Vicarious Visions and the
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 4 team, which sounds really weird because it seems like you want everyone working on Diablo 4 to be working on Diablo 4. So it's not like a rush job. But yeah, it seems like maybe the Warcraft 3 Reforged situation made Blizzard like do drastic changes to, I don't know, shake things up, try something new.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure it feels like they're, Blizzard was probably trying to push to make a deadline and didn't have enough time or resources to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess they're just like, okay, throw a different team at it, see if this goes better.
Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting because maybe that also means that they don't think classic will survive for very long in general. The classic
Yeah.
idea of games, maybe sure TBC is coming soon, and I'm sure one
Mhm.
cycle of it will probably be very successful. But maybe they know that after that, it's a very questionable thing.
Yeah. Oh, just to clarify, the internal name for the department was Classic. It's not WoW Classic. The classic games refer to like StarCraft Remastered, Reforged, and Legacy, WoW, and Diablo. So like D1, D2. It's not. They did not
Oh, I thought
fire
it.
the
I
one.
thought it included all of them. Okay, gotcha.
No, WoW Classic is a separate thing. This is
Okay,
just
okay,
these are
okay.
just like the products that are more on like life support or like Heroes of the Storm, which has been scaled back. That's not like a marquee title.
That's
But
considered
like
classic Blizzard.
yeah, because it's or like StarCraft 2 because like they're seizing development on that. It's like things that are not they're heavy hitters.
Gotcha, gotcha. I
Yeah.
thought this
So
was a general downscale of the classic team
No.
overall, like across everything. Like Reforged is a classic game, WoW Classic is a classic game. Okay,
No,
gotcha.
WoW Classic is a division of Warcraft, I think. But yes, it's
Gotcha.
very confusing. We had
Mm-hmm.
like all these flashing disclaimers in the post because everyone was like Classic is
Yeah, yeah,
dying.
yeah, yeah. Okay, good, good. Well, I'm glad you explained
Yeah.
that because I did not catch that. Good,
Yeah.
good, good, good.
Uh, but yeah, so it is sad to see department gutted, especially because you could tell that the Reforged team had like really high hopes, and it seems like this was maybe like a budgeting issue and not a like they're bad at suddenly bad at their job issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that said, I mean, because Vicarious Visions does have a good track record assisting on games, hopefully this means that other remakes will be in good hands, and if they do adopt Diablo 2, hopefully it won't be as poorly received as Reforged, and maybe they can improve Reforged as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just it's interesting how no one really heard of this company, and now everyone is learning how there are support studios helping the main studio get things done, and you know like Blizzard may have made a game or Activision may have made a game, but there's this other totally unrelated studio like helping them along behind the scenes. So maybe they're not doing the development, but they're helping create the assets and bring it to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Putting a name to all the different studios, even if they're working under a different one. I think that's good to know.
Yeah, and I'm curious if we'll see the output of the classic games increase over time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, we know that Reforged is maybe they'll figure out some things that were missing, or Diablo 2 will be more polished than how Reforged turned out, or a lot of people are speculating they can help work on Overwatch 2, which has been announced forever, and
Yeah.
people think we're not going to get updates at BlizzConline because the voice actors are saying they haven't been asked to do anything yet.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
read a tweet about that. One of the voice
yeah,
actors admitting that they hadn't even started recording anything, so that means the
yeah,
game is probably not anywhere near done yet.
right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that definitely bringing devs on board is good, and if they've worked with Blizzard so much, there shouldn't be like a big learning curve to,
Yeah, to
integrate.
adopt the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, so maybe it's a good thing. It never feels good knowing that like a department was dissolved probably for factors outside of their control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so that is about it for the notes. Uh,
Yeah, that
not
is it
yeah,
indeed. That covered everything. We had some mainly BlizzConline things to talk about, and then a few game things talking about alt and mains, anima shortage. A little bit of a touch on the campaigns, which have now come to an end and is opening up possibilities of story progression for BlizzConline as well. And then we went into some of the industry things, which I think can be quite interesting. Especially for those who sometimes feel like talking about things outside the game, but still
yeah.
related to the game itself.
As far as upcoming stuff, the Lunar Festival is starting soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we still don't really have any like big renown quests to look forward to or Torghast things, but hopefully by next show we'll have, I don't know, maybe a BlizzConline schedule or even more
Yeah.
merch. I got a message saying that I was being sent like a little surprise package thing.
Oh, so we might see it next week.
So yeah, maybe it will arrive by next week. Normally for media, like you get a little goodie bag sometimes for things. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't know, it'd be cool to get something.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have some stuff to show off.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I think the helm, it's still being made. I think they said the helm I would get by I think they're hoping to have the helm I think by the 15th, but we'll see. So
Also, you
hopefully
would
we
have
can.
it by the 15th.
Yeah, so hopefully by I think
Cool.
I requested two helms,
Mm-hmm.
one to show off on box and then one to give away.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. Or maybe if it's a bright paw health risk, maybe I'll give two helms away. We'll see.
Yeah,
I can just
that's
picture him
awesome.
like running with the spike of the helm in his teeth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have some more BlizzCon news. We try not to cancel shows, but we don't want to give you guys like a super fluffy short show because we try to like like have a script and graphics, and it's a lot of work, and like Annie then can't stream if she's doing this, stream at the same time. So we try to do the show when there's actual news to discuss, and we don't have a ton of live news going on, but I thought that the BlizzCon and industry stuff was pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was some decent news to talk about, especially with BlizzCon Live. And then we're in a new month as well. We're in February, which means more new things are happening very soon. But I think that pretty much sums everything up or wraps it up. Are you ready for a high five?
I am ready. I'm seeing where the cat went to because I shut the door on him so he couldn't go out, but he's not sitting in the bag. So I'm like, where could he be? Bright Paw. Oh no. Come on, Bright Paw.
What's he doing?
Bright Paw.
Is Luna still here? No, she's not.
We got you.
Oh, when did she leave? I didn't see that.
We got a baby cat. Yes.
Aww. Brightpaw is here. Hi, Brightpaw.
He was playing with wires behind the computer.
Of course.
So he's not anymore.
Brightpaw,
I lock you in the office with me, and I give you a cat bed, and instead you go for the wires. Why did you do that?
Oh. Well, he looks quite comfortable now, so that's nice. Do you think you're still able to high five?
I think so. Or Brightpaw, do you want to high five?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go for it.
No. Brightpaw. Okay, I think we can go for it now. All right. What is the countdown?
Yep. You go for the countdown. All
right. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Snap at the right time. And Brightpaw's like, okay, Mom, can I sleep now?
He's like, look at me. I'm just stretching out in front of the camera.
Yeah. I'm chilling.
He is chilling.
Yeah, he really is. Thank you everyone for watching today and supporting. We'll be back hopefully next week with some more info and and any news that may come before then. That's the plan anyways. I do think February will have more news than January, so you can probably expect us to be here again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, if you do tend to watch the show, but maybe you miss parts of it, or if you just tuned in now, these shows do all get uploaded to YouTube. You can always catch up with them over there in case you're not able to watch it live for one reason or another. It's also great to have as a sort of a background thing maybe when you're traveling. If you are traveling, I think most people actually aren't. Most people sit at home while working. You can have it on a monitor even at home just to keep up with all the news related to World of Warcraft. So yeah, that's pretty convenient with YouTube. All right, well, we'll see you all next time then.
Oh, he even said goodbye too.
Oh, look. Yeah, I saw the paw waving too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Right.
Bye.
And
see you all next time.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you all next week. Bye-bye.